Am I the a-hole stories? Am I the a-hole for not accepting my brother's apology and disowning him? I'm 20 and recently my girlfriend, now ex, started having feelings for my brother, which I was worried about either way. Subsequently, I was given my ex's phone to go through and found they had intimate conversations that I would and many consider cheating. Now I think it is important to note my brother is 30 and my ex is 20. I've spent most of my life in his shadow and he has physically abused me and my siblings as well as conning us out of hundreds of dollars. Before the cheating, I had already basically removed him from my life, but now he is back under my parents' roof where I live as they have basically forgiven him. So here is the apology. He came to my room, I walked out, he kind of sauntered over looking down and said I'm sorry. After saying he should look me in the eye, he said I'm really sorry. Almost like a high schooler apologizing for calling someone fat. So I got upset and said it was insincere, based mainly on just the lack of emotion and of course just 3 words. Going farther in, he basically explained he wasn't sorry for his past self, and that it was my fault I was hurt by said past. He continued to blame my dad for broken promises that my brother had made. Am I the a-hole? Sorry for such a long message. There could be a lot more said about past abuse and more present abuse as well. As a slight correction, only he thinks I'm an a-hole. She recently told me she doesn't think it was wrong to deny. I hold them both accountable. I will add, since it seems important, that we were together for 5 years, and from what I have been told by her friends, he was always very nice to her and she felt he may have liked her for a long time. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole at all. You deserve better, and to be honest, I feel like he just asked for forgiveness because he went back to your house lol. He's 30 years old for goodness sake. He should have known better and his apology sucked. Thank you. I hate that even now I feel bad about it because he is my brother. Not the a-hole. Your girlfriend sucks. If she would cheat with your brother, she has no morals and would cheat with anyone. Cut her out of your life. Your brother sucks even more. He also has no morals, and doesn't care about anyone but himself. You can cut him out of your life, too. He sounds like he's always been mean and selfish. Not the a-hole. Your brother is a creep. I didn't note this, but she has thought he was attractive since we were younger. We were together since like 15. She mentioned a lot that he used to be really nice to her and all her friends made fun of her for being groomed. I don't necessarily call it that though. He was once charged with sleeping with my sister's friend at like 16 though, although I think those were dropped. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for wanting to forgive one brother for having an affair with another brother's fiancée? Let me just start off and say I think cheating is deplorable. I have 2 brothers, John, 28, and Matt, 25. Around 3 years ago, our family exploded when it came out that Matt was having an affair with John's fiancée. A fiancée who was 6 months pregnant, and Matt turned out to be the father. John was understandably humiliated and angry. I was fully on his side as I was disgusted with Matt and the fiancée. Here's my issue though. At John's insistence, Matt has pretty much been excommunicated from our family. He isn't allowed at any gatherings where John is, and John purposely makes sure he is at every one. Matt married John's ex-fiancée and are raising the 2.5-year-old together. To this day, Matt's wife is referred to as a hoe and the baby is called a bastard. Only by John, but in our family's presence. He hates them with a passion even today. My parents have really struggled with this but have agreed to follow John's rule of no contact with the wife or baby. Even contact with Matt is done in secret. Matt has been kicked out of our family business because John can't be in the same room as him. All photos of Matt have been hidden in the family home. No gifts have been given to Matt's child at all. Am I absolutely crazy to think that 3 years of this is enough? Matt is clearly remorseful and has apologized many times in tears. He clearly regrets hurting our brother. I can understand that John is absolutely hurt and it must have been the most painful betrayal, but I still love both my brothers. Matt did a horrible thing, but how much more does he need to be punished? My poor parents have been broken-hearted for the past 3 years because of this. They have confided in me that they are willing to forgive Matt and move on and regret letting it get this far. We were such a tight-knit family before. But I'm really worried that suggesting forgiveness with John will cause a massive fight and he'll make us choose between them. I also worry about his mental health. They're also the innocent child in this. He deserves a relationship with his grandparents and his aunt. I have recently been visiting Matt and his family. They are clearly struggling with the isolation. His wife broke down and apologized as I held my nephew for the first time. My heart tore in two. Am I the a-hole for wanting to bring them into our family again and forgiving them? There is family reunion coming up in a week and I want them to attend. You're the a-hole. Why should he get over it? I mean, really, you feel bad for Matt? Matt is living with the consequences of doing one of the worst possible things he could have to your brother. He wants to approach John and beg for forgiveness, that's one thing, but you don't get to demand that Matt is allowed back in. Also, the brother has been asking for forgiveness, but he's married to the ex-fiancée. I'm calling his BS because he can't be sorry and still sleeping with her. I mean, he got her pregnant. It's not like he could just vanish from her life, and he clearly loves her, as wrong as that was. Yeah, and what do people in love do? Have intercourse, and you can't go crying to your brother and say, I'm so sorry I had an affair with your ex-fiancée, and I hope you can please forgive me, but I'm still screwing her though. This is more of our/relationships post. You're clearly not an a-hole. Your brother Matt and his wife is/were, and John is understandably bitter. I'm dubious as to whether forgiveness is ever possible in those situations, so I wouldn't frame it in that way. Anything that suggests John should get over or minimize Matt and his wife's behavior is going to backfire if you raise it. Completely understand your position of wanting a relationship with your nephew and for your parents to see their grandchild. But you need to accept that John may never want to see them. Not now, not in 5 years, ever. So springing the idea that they are coming to a family reunion next week is pretty dicey. You'd have a better chance being honest with John, saying you want to see Matt, and that you will because he is your brother too. But that you place no expectations on him doing so, and that you won't put him in situations where he has to. If he ever decides to, it should be on his own timeline. The problem with banning them from family events is that John is at every single one. I almost feel like he's doing it out of spite so Matt can never come around. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my dad I don't care and leave me out of it when he brought up an issue with my mom? My parents divorced when I, 21 female, was 9. Dad had an affair with Stephanie. Stephanie is now his wife and has been since the divorce happened. When my mom first found out about the affair, she told my dad's boss and the boss fired Stephanie but did not fire my dad. This bothered my dad and Stephanie for all these years, and my dad told me about it recently, expecting me to tell my mom off for doing what she did, and expecting me to disown her, I guess, for what she did. I told him I didn't care and he needed to leave me out of that stuff. He told me it was an a-hole move to take a position like that. I asked him why he would expect me to pick Stephanie over my mom, or side with them over my mom when they're the ones who were sleeping together while he was married to my mom. He said that was bad, but my mom should have just gotten over it. That she ruined Stephanie's reputation and she was never able to find a good job afterwards. I told him that wasn't really my problem and stuff between him and my mom needed to stay between them. He thinks what I said was an a-hole move because I'm not giving my mom an equally hard time over her actions. I don't think he's right, but I might be wrong. My dad was a good dad to me, so even though I have always hated that he cheated, and it definitely changes how I see him as a person, I do still love him. So maybe I was harsh or something? Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. It's hella sexist that the boss didn't fire both of them, but that has nothing to do with you either. Your dad is pissed because there were consequences for cheating. This really isn't enough information to give a ruling on the boss. What if this was just the straw that broke the camel's back on getting Stephanie fired? With the details given, Stephanie may be an amazing worker and didn't deserve being fired. In that case, boss is biggest a-hole for firing just her and showing he's a sexist. However, she may have been the worst worker at that company and the boss was looking for an excuse to fire her. In that case, he's not an a-hole at all. Or it's even possible that the company had a no fraternization rule that your father and Stephanie broke. I've seen it where the boss says, okay, one of you have to go, choose now. In that case he's still not the a-hole. No matter what, OP is definitely not the a-hole. Dad and Stephanie are definite a-holes, and mom to a lesser extent for pulling the boss into it. Not the a-hole. Dad, you should totally take a side on this. You, cool. Dad, wait, no, not like that. Well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions, OP's dad probably. Not the a-hole. He can be a good dad and you can still love him and all that, it doesn't make him not an a-hole though. There's no reason he should be trying to put you in the middle of their issues. It's honestly coming off manipulative and he needs to back off. He and Stephanie should take his own advice and get over it. This, plus it was 12 years ago, OP has shown great maturity to maintain a good relationship with her dad all this time despite being a victim in this, but her dad can't stop poking the wound they created all these years later. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for being angry that my brother forgave his cheating wife but won't forgive my husband for helping his wife cheat and plans to take our parents away to a different country? My brother and I are twins, born shortly after our Indian parents came to US. As brown kids, school was rough, but we were always there for each other. My brother got into an Ivy League school, I got into a good uni. In uni, I met my future husband and his douchebag best friend, D-bag. So after uni, hubby and I decided to marry. Major drama followed at home. Hubby is white, but brother really stood up for us and eventually things turned around and I married hubby. A year later, my brother went to India for work. He was there for 3 years, met an Indian girl, fell in love, got married and decided to come back to the US in 2015. Sister-in-law got a job in a company where hubby and D-bag work. In December 2017, brother discovered sister-in-law was cheating on him for 4 months with D-bag. He was devastated. Sister-in-law even left him for D-bag after New Year's, but D-bag discarded her. Sister-in-law had a mental breakdown and did something that got her deported. My brother became a recluse and started avoiding everyone. In May 2018, he got a really good job opportunity in Qatar. He took it and moved away, but before going away he gave us the full truth. Hubby knew about the affair and even helped D-bag/sister-in-law hide the affair. This caused a major strain in my relationship with hubby. Hubby has apologized to everyone and deeply regrets everything. My brother just won't speak to him and my parents are very cold towards hubby. My brother has kept in contact with us for the past 2 years and he is making 7 figures in Qatar. He also sends my daughter gifts for her birthday. Last Friday on a family call, he informed us that sister-in-law, after going back to India, got medical help for BPD and low self-esteem. He has been making short trips to India since April 2018 to meet up with her and his in-laws till March 2020. Now during quarantine, they have talked about living together in Qatar after everything normalizes. He has asked my parents to come join him in Qatar as he never wishes to return to the US. I'm against my parents moving to Qatar since I'll be left without any family here, but I think my parents are considering it. So finally I asked, since he has forgiven sister-in-law, when does he plan to forgive my husband and move on? I would like for things to go back to normal. He said he owes my husband nothing, not forgiveness nor relationship. Even if he forgives my husband, he won't ever forget what happened. This made me lose my mind. I told him it feels like he is punishing me for what happened, especially trying to take mom and dad away with him. Why is he being such an a-hole? He told me, my husband is the a-hole and not everything is about me. He needs to live his own life and I should too. He gave mom and dad a proposal, they can decide for themselves, then cut off the call. Now he isn't taking my calls and my parents are angry with me? Am I the a-hole? He told me, my husband is the a-hole and not everything is about me. He needs to live his own life and I should too. He gave mom and dad a proposal, they can decide for themselves. Everything here is correct. You want your parents around? Shocker, he does too. It has nothing to do with you. You're the a-hole. Also, he makes 7 figures. If I made 7 figures in another country where I settled down, I'd love to have my parents there and take care of them. You're the a-hole. One of the basic rules to reconciliation after infidelity is to cut out anyone who encouraged it. Your husband was an accomplice, he betrayed your family, specifically your brother who had stood up for him. Your brother is right, there is no reason for him to engage with your brother in any way. I would have voted no a-holes here if you had just been disappointed in the consequences of your husband's actions. You ratcheted up to become the a-hole though by calling his offer to your parents punishment. Framing your parents' decision as taking sides and abandoning you, is complete a-hole territory. Yeah, I was thinking if it was that parents were needing care or incapacitated in some way and brother just wanted to fly them all the way to him and OP wanted them close by for safety, then I'd understand that. That's where I thought it was going. By the language used by OP removes agency from the parents. However, it seems that parents are perfectly able to move if they so wish without negative mental or health consequences, and have every right to do so. You don't get to decide your parents stay close to you just because you want them to. Especially if elder care is better where their son lives, for example. You're the a-hole. He has incentive to forgive his wife, he loves her and that is his choice. He isn't required to forgive your husband. And even if he chose to forgive, forgiveness does not equal reconciliation. Also, your parents can move where they want when they want. They don't need your permission. Your brother isn't taking them away, he's made them an offer. He's entitled to tell his own parents he wants them to move with them, just as you can express your feelings towards your parents. You can't however control them. I personally think he's making a mistake in forgiving his ex, mostly because she was willing to ditch him for some random dude she was screwing for 4 months. But again, that's his choice to make, just like forgiving OP's husband is also his choice to make. And that's it for this video guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day everyone.